Are we seeing the beginnings of hyperinflation? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your shine of coffee. Let's have a look at this article from Bloomberg Wealth, which is discussing Singapore and Hong Kong airfares are going to jump 40%. 40% on the travel bubble plan. Is this the beginning of inflation or hyperinflation? 40% is a big jump. Is the international air travel that we, global jet age that we've become so accustomed to, is that going to be out of the reach of all but the quite wealthy? Is this part of the new normal that we all have to embrace? And what's going to happen with the Australia and New Zealand bubble? So let's have a look at this. Because remember, even here in Australia, international travel, it's part of our CPI. So the reason inflation is at negative 3% is because right now they seem to think that all that money everyone saved, all the money everyone saved from childcare being free, it's offset all these other costs. But don't worry, because international travel is included in that calculation. So I wonder if even the fact that we can't travel there, I wonder if that will be counted into this, the increase of Hong Kong to Singapore flights. Although, in all honesty, I think this is an indication of just how much more expensive flights are going to get around the world. The cost of air tickets between two major Asian financial hubs jumped within 24 hours of Singapore and Hong Kong, unveiling plans for a travel bubble that wouldn't require people to quarantine upon arrival. The cheapest price for a Singapore Airlines return economy seat to Hong Kong was $558 Friday morning up until the end of December versus around 400 Singapore dollars Thursday afternoon as the news was announced. The airline website showed, return business class fares rose about Hong Kong $5,000 to $645 to 19,000 Hong Kong dollars. Cheaper flights were still available on travel websites including Skyscanner Limited. The coronavirus pandemic has hit the flag carriers of Singapore and Hong Kong especially hard because they didn't have any domestic market to fall back on. Well, actually, yeah, of course. Well, maybe you could catch a flight from Hong Kong over to Kowloon. It might be faster than going through the traffic. I'm kidding. But yeah. Prior to the outbreak, around 1 million trips were made between the two regional centres every year. Data from the Singapore and Hong Kong tourism boards show. Hong Kong-listed Cathay Pacific Airways Limited closed up 6.1% on Thursday and rose as much as 6.4% Friday as investors digested the news. The agreement could lift Cathay's monthly revenue by Hong Kong $90 million and reduce cash burn by as much as 6%. See, that's what the talk is now these days, of reducing cash burn, guys, not increased profit, reducing cash burn. According to Bloomberg intelligence analyst James Teo and Chris Munkensturm, who assume revenue on the Hong Kong-Singapore route amounted to about 3% of Cathay Pacific's total, or Cathay's total pre-pandemic. So, we have around here, when they're tracking the cases. Singapore Airlines, which rose as much as 1.4% Friday, could see a Singapore $15 million boost to monthly revenue and a 6% reduction in cash burn. Teo and Munkensturm said, the route also made up 3% of its revenue before COVID-19. The number of flights between Hong Kong and Singapore slumped because of the virus, with only 56 round trips filled for October, down 90% from a year earlier. Just think about that, a 90% reduction in two of these powerhouse cities. According to the consultancy arm of aviation analytics company, Kucoin. Although the travel bubble will potentially facilitate increased services by Cathay Pacific, Singapore and Scoot, which have continued to operate minimal services on the route through 2020, demand is expected to remain depressed in the near term as passenger confidence remains low. said Herman C., an analyst with Ascent by Curium. Still, the bubble plan has encouraged some to book flights or make plans to travel. Singapore-based Clarence Fu, who works for APAC Realty Limited, said Unit ERA, said 4 Chinese nationals with Hong Kong residency had told him they planned to fly down to the city-state and purchase luxury apartments. Of course. Of course. See, it's not only Australia, guys. It's not only Australia. This is when are we going to have our special travel bubble with Hong Kong and Singapore, maybe to Brisbane, you know, if you're coming to buy luxury apartments. When will we see it here? You know it's going to happen, guys. You know it'll happen. They're constantly asking about the property market, whether it's recovering and whether prices are coming up, Fu said. Some had planned to come down earlier in the year, but then Singapore imposed border controls. They know that the city's property market seems to be more resilient now, as there have been more sales and prices are low, so they want to capitalize on that, so they want to jump in. Under the travel bubble, compulsory quarantine will be replaced by coronavirus testing. Singaporean Transport Minister Ong Ye Kung told reporters that he hopes the bubble will start in weeks. Other details of the agreement would be fleshed out later, the Hong Kong government said, without giving any date for when the plan will come into effect. Tan Wee Lin, who works for the finance sector in Hong Kong, booked her ticket to Singapore soon after the announcement. She plans to stay for several weeks and not fly back to Hong Kong until December, figuring by then there will be more details laid out. Having to quarantine is what's stopping me, and a lot of people I know from traveling, Tan said. Yes, tests are expensive, but it's not about the cost of testing. We can't afford to quarantine at one side or both sides. Well, there you go. I mean, isn't that fascinating? It's not about the tests. It's about the quarantine. I mean, because 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a big time. And, I mean, there's hope for the Singapore property market, guys, for those people rushing to get those luxury apartments. So what do you think, everyone? Do you think we'll start to see the same type of thing happening here in Australia? You know, when are we going to see? What do we have here? This is cases around the world. And this is death. Well, no. They never talk about the number of people that recover every day. They never do. Which is the most important. Which just blows everything else out of the water. It really does. Anyway. So, here we have it, guys. Potential, well, a jump of 40% in travel between two areas. Is this going to be an indication of international flights, of how expensive international flights are going to get? Are we going to see, more and more price increases? And is this the first step of inflation that's just going to start to become a necessity to keep these businesses viable? What do you all think, everyone? And do you think Australia, do you think we will start to open up our cities to get more people coming over? Because, come on, guys, we need them for property. We need to get that foreign money back into our apartments. Why not? That's what they always love doing. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you all in the next episode. Wrong button.